Real conversations with real entrepreneurs. They'll share everything from their biggest struggle to the exact strategies they use on a daily basis. So if you're ready for a value-packed interview, listen on. Here's your host, Eric Sue.
Before we jump into today's interview, if you guys could leave a review and a rating and also subscribe as well, that would be a huge help to the podcast. So if you actually enjoy the content and you'd like to hear more of it, please support us by leaving us a review and subscribe to the podcast as well. Thanks so much. All right, everybody. Today we have Melody McCloskey, who is the CEO of StyleSeat, which is the largest marketplace for beauty services. And last year, which was 2016, they did over 1.7 billion, that's with a B, in bookings. Melody, how's it going?
It's going really well. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for being here. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about kind of who you are and how you got to where you are?
Sure, absolutely. Let's see who I am, the company or personally?
Personally.
Personally. Okay. I am a first-time founder. This is my first company, although I've been doing it for a while, since we launched in 2011. I am the daughter of a police officer growing up, so didn't have too much experience with the tech world, didn't really grow up in it very much. I took coding classes when I was younger, but I was a French major and a international relations double major, so was not technical in terms of my education. I moved to San Francisco after college, and the intention was to move back to France because I had studied a year abroad and absolutely loved it. So my original genius idea was I'll move to San Francisco and save some money and move back to Europe, which is hilarious for a lot of reasons, but sort of fell into tech from there and met a lot of fascinating people doing really big things and starting a lot of really cool companies, and realized that this was actually what I wanted to do. Great.
And so StyleSeat, what was the impetus for the idea, and how did you start it?
Sure. Well, I first it was brought to my attention how this industry worked when I'd moved to San Francisco and I wanted to get my hair done. And booking an appointment was really hard. I am a fairly data-driven person, and I want to find the best person in my price range, in my neighborhood, and I don't want to wait that long for the appointment, right? I want to do it within a couple of days or maybe a week. And the tools that were out there were just really poor and awful. So discovery is incredibly hard. There's not a lot of information out there about who's better than who. At the time, there was no real great source of ratings, and that data just wasn't available. And so I wanted to provide that for myself and other women as a resource. But then as I started to do more research into the space, I realized, okay, part of the problem is that these professionals in this industry don't have a good way to market themselves and run and grow their business. And that became a much more interesting problem that I wanted to solve, because I love small business owners, I love entrepreneurs, and beauty professionals in particular are creative, they're passionate, they're talented, but they don't necessarily have a, deep passion for business fundamentals, right? Thinking about things like customer acquisition and web presence and social media and, CRM and stuff like that. So that stuff is like the fun stuff for me. And I thought that being able to bring that value to them and then help them grow their creative business would be very, very exciting. And so that's what the platform does today.
Got it. Okay. And what numbers can you share around the business today?
Sure. So last year, as you mentioned, we did about $1.6 billion in bookings. We've powered about $3.5 billion since we've launched. We've powered over 70 million appointments across the platform. So, we're powering millions a month. So the scale is big. It's bigger than it used to be, although the industry is a $60 billion industry. There's a lot of dollars spent. So we're very much at the tip of the iceberg.
Awesome. And how does somebody with, no tech background get into something like this? What are some challenges you faced?
All of them every day. I think, honestly, in the beginning, it was it's overwhelming to think about how do I start a company. And so one of the things that I did that I thought was helpful is to say, okay, let me map out all the things that I need to do, because there's just so many, right? And let me put it all on a piece of paper and just get it all out. And then let me put it into pieces, right? Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And then every day I would wake up and just attack one or two things from the phase that I was in. So if it was like, I want to start a giant marketplace that powers the entire beauty industry, that's impossible and crazy for a French major to say. But if I woke up and I said, all right, I'm going to find an accountant today and I'm going to find a lawyer, right? Or I'm going to incorporate, or I'm going to find an engineer, or I'm going to, find a designer, like whatever those little projects are, I think that made it more doable in the beginning stages when there was no traction.
Got it. So what I'm hearing is one step at a time.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Now, in the early days, with now, you have such big numbers, 1.7 or 1.6, in billion in bookings and 70 million appointments, or did you say 70 billion or is it 70 million appointments?
70 million, yeah.
70 billion, I don't think that's really, is that feasible? I'm trying to think. Probably not right now.
Maybe not, but not yet.
Yep.
It's never no, it's just not yet.
Cool. So how did you go about acquiring your first, let's just say, 1,000 customers?
So I didn't really know that many stylists. I had a couple of friends that were stylists, and obviously I'd gotten my hair done before and asked a million questions. But what I did was sent an email to all of my friends. I spammed them all, and I said, send me the email address for your hairstylist. I would love to talk to them and get their advice. So I got about 30 names, and I sent them an email, and the email was basically, I want to change the beauty industry. I want to make you more money, and I want to give you free champagne. So can I have an hour of